What is up, the Radical family? Welcome back to another Radcast. Today we're going to start it off with your biggest mess ups on a job. And comment down below what your biggest mess up on a job was. Mine had to be at a golf course when I was working at a golf course, and they would have me go get gas and like 8 gas cans and make me drive their truck and pay with their credit card. And his credit card was already a little bit like broken. Not broken, but it was already like splitting in half. And so I was paying, I was going like this with the card, and it snapped in half, long ways too. And I paid, I already put it in the gas, and I already put it in the gas machine or the dispenser or the on the gas station. I already paid, and I filled up all the gas cans. And when I came back, I was like, I had to tell him a story. So I said that I dropped it, or I accidentally broke your credit card, and he wasn't that mad about it, surprisingly. But I was freaking out at the gas station. I was like, how am I gonna tell my boss? My boss, not even like some random guy, my boss. And I was like, I'm gonna get fired. But ended up being all right, and his card was in half. Literally broke it in half, and it was a big mess up. But working at the golf course, if you ever worked at a golf course, I worked as a cart boy and a maintenance person, and I also cut holes, which it was one of the greatest jobs I ever had. And me and a buddy named Devin, he's been on the channel before. We worked there together, and we saw some crazy stuff. Like one time, a dude of our county was like in charge of the policemen or whatever, or of the state cops, not state, of the county, of the sheriffs of the county, like the county police. And he was with the lady that he shouldn't have been, because he has a wife back at home, but he was with the lady that he shouldn't have been, and he crashed into a tree. And on a golf cart, you get stopped. If you crashed, you get stopped by the steering wheel. Your passenger flies forward, because we didn't have windows at the time. And the chick, she busted her face up, and he was pretty drunk. And so the cops show up back forward. Me and Devin are washing carts, and we hear someone crying upstairs, because they drove all the way to the pro shop. And me and Devin were like, "What's all right?" And he was literally in a wife beater and slurring, right? And so then there was this Mexican dude came down. He's like, "You gotta call the cops." And I just smoked weed in the cart barn. So I was like, "Get out of the cart barn, what are you doing?" Because I didn't want to get in trouble. And he's like, "You got to call the cops." And I was like, "Oh shit, no, I don't want to call the cops." And so he ended up calling the cops, and the cops showed up, and he's the dude that, we'll say, I don't know, I forgot what his name is, but the dude that wrecked with the chick, he's the freaking bot. I don't know what position was, but I guess he pays him, or I don't know what he does. Anyways, he was all drunk, and then so we call the cops. The cops show up. The sheriffs come up. There's about 8 sheriffs, or maybe 8 sheriffs, right? And they're just talking to him, like bullshitting with him. Like one had his leg up on the tire talking to the dude, and an ambulance came for the lady, and because her lip was like pretty busted up, and it was fucked up. She was, I mean, I don't like all that stuff. I don't even like watching Grey's Anatomy. Anyways, the cops, he was drunk, like obviously drunk, like slurring his words, couldn't even stand up, and he was just bullshitting with the cops. And the cops were standing in a circle, and me and like, here's the cart bar, and they're right here, like it was so close. So me and Devin are washing carts, and I was like, "Listen here, guys, we pay. My tax money pays for you fuckers." So I says, "Are you gonna help me wash carts or do something? Do your job, And they ended up letting him drive home. He drove home. Just because they're his boss, or I don't know what position he was, but they let him drive home. And I was like, you guys could have literally drove him home. Or get him, like, if anyone else did what he did, you'd get locked up, You'd get at least a night in jail, or a couple nights. But he drove home drunk. And that was one good time not good time, that was one time at the golf course. And I lost all respect for that dude, because as a cart boy, you know everybody, and I'm a talkative person, so I would talk to everybody, and I used to think he was cool, but I lost all respect for that dude once he did that, and had no accountability for his actions, and it really was a shitty time. But if you are thirsty, take a sip. Take a Sip Hydration Systems is a company that is using cutting-edge technology to make cups, water bottles, and more. If you want to use my code Radprodzz32 to get 30% off of your first order, use it. The link is in description. Use it. It's right there. And a cool time at the golf course is me and Devin would always close the course. So closing the course, there's like, you go and pick up the flags, and you go pick up the flags and shut the gates. And you're not supposed to, but me and Devin would always close the course together, and it was so fun. And we would, if it was summertime, it would be night, and you'd still be in a t-shirt, or even, because it was so hot, and so the sprinklers would be on, and so me and Devin would always try to get the passenger wet without you getting wet. Or sometimes we would play a hole in pitch black night where there was no houses, because there's some holes without houses, and we'd play a hole in pitch black. And one time Devin hit, and then I hit, and we couldn't find the ball. It was on the green. We hit from the freaking thing on the green. We played better at night than we played on the day. And sometimes we got cart stuck. We ran over shit because you couldn't see in the dark, and there's no headlights over the golf course. Like, we ran over a basket. Fun times at the golf course, though. And if you worked at a golf course, comment down below, because there's fun things to do at a golf course. And let's see what's next. That was my best job that I had. Was besides this is a good job being a YouTuber, or being a content creator. But my worst job was working at Little Caesars, and I worked there for like a day, maybe. I think one day, and I never showed up again, because it was so shitty there. I showed up to work, right, and I showed up around 3, and I probably left around 8. And the people who were teaching me were so like, they're bitches. Like, they were fucking so rude to me. I don't know, like, maybe because they're all depressed, listening to like Lil Peep and fucking like sad ass songs, and I was just like a happy guy. And then one guy, I shit you not, there was a dude in the back without a uniform trying to sell me weed, and he was the manager's friend or something, and the manager was fishy too. He was trying to sell me weed, and not even like normal things are like, oh, you go by like 10, 20, normal prices by a gram. He was trying to sell me a half a gram, like in Little Caesars, not where you buy pizza, but in the back where you're making pizza. There's a dude trying to sell me weed, and I was like, bro, I'm not trying to fucking buy weed from. And it was like a cocaine bag. It wasn't even it was like this big of a bag, and it was at Little Caesars, and I was so pissed. And then the chicks kept on being mean to me and fucking rude, and fucking, I literally just never came back. I was like, I'm gonna finish this shift. I think it was like a $60 shift, and $60, and I fucking never came back. And they're all texting me, they're like, come back to work. I was like, fuck no, that shit's fucking ghetto as fuck and sketchy. Dude's trying to sell me weed while I'm working. I'm trying to work, get a paycheck, and this dude's trying to sell me weed. Like, it was the worst job I had, by far. Do you need something to fish with, or something to put at the end of your line? Go to Master Bait and Tackle. Tell them Bottini sent you from the RadCast. They will get you what you need. We just went on a San Diego trip, and if you want to watch that video, it's right here. Oh, no, it's not. It's right here. Nope, it's not right here. Actually, it's not anyway. But we just went on a San Diego trip. We went to San Diego, and we had a bad experience. So it was me and Corey when we drove up there, and we met Josh, and so we stay in a shitty hotel. I'm talking about shit. Motel 6 is a fucking 5-star hotel, alright? Compared to this thing. It was so sketchy. So we show up, it's under a highway. There's 2 highways, and you're under it. And then we open the door. There's a cigarette burn, probably about this big, on the blanket. There's 2 beds. On my bed, there's a cigarette burn this big on the blanket. and then you sit on the bed. It was like either a big construction dude slept there or just a big dude. There was an imprint of like someone's sleeping there. So I didn't even lift up the blankets because I didn't even want to see what was under there. But it was like the shittiest bed. It smelled like cigarettes. The outlets, usually outlets are like a normal, like, you know what outlets are, you know, where like the normal height. They were on the ceiling. They're like by the ceiling, like on the wall still, but like high up where you couldn't really reach unless you like got on the bed or something. Then the walls were like pretty yellow because of all the cigarette smoke. Smelled like mildew and cigarettes. It didn't even have ridiculousness on the fucking. If you go to a hotel, you know you gotta watch ridiculousness. They didn't even have ridiculousness, and it just had one. Like usually you come in your hotel room, you flick on the light. It didn't even have that. It fucking just had a lamp that was like barely on. It was like on its last legs, and so that's what the first thing we get to San Diego. Me and Corey drove 13 hours to arrive to a shitty hotel. And then they told us it was because the reason why we got a shitty hotel is because of the prices, because we didn't want to pay a bunch of money for a regular hotel. And then come to find out the next morning, right? The next morning they're trying to charge us $160 for just one night, and it said on booking.com, it said like 67 or maybe $70 for a night, and that's the reason why we got the hotel, because it was cheap. Come in the morning, they're trying to charge us $160, and we're like, no, we got 2 nights for $160. They're like, nope, sorry. And so that Corey was pissed. Corey started yelling. Fucking Josh is trying to take a shit. Corey's yelling. And I'm trying to take a picture of the trains because there was right by a train track. So it was 2 highways and a train track. Worst fucking view you can have at a shitty motel. And then there's a dude that comes up to me and he's talking weirdly about my camera. He's like, that's a nice camera, isn't it? And I was just scared that he was going to take my camera. And it's a nice camera, so I just said, oh, well, I gotta go. And went back to the hotel, and Corey's screaming. And, you know, it was just a shitty experience. Do not go to Easy 8 Motel in San Diego. Easy 8 Motel in anywhere is just a shitty experience. But yeah, that was our trip. Our trip was pretty shitty. But the beach was pretty cool. Other than that, we went to Buckeye, Arizona, because we left because we didn't have no place to stay. We went to the beach and then automatically got back on the road. We were on the road longer than we were in San Diego, and we went to Buckeye, which is halfway between here and San Diego, and we stayed there. It was the best hotel ever. It had a nice bed, a nice clean shower, nice clean bathroom. It was a nice place. It was like a place where you like stay for a couple weeks. And we stayed there, got a good night's rest, got a good breakfast in the morning, head back on the road, took the 60 from, we went through Phoenix, then took the, through Phoenix, got somewhere, and then took the 60 back to New Mexico. A good drive. You guys got to take it if you haven't already. But do not go to any motel, that Easy 8 Motel, shitty. You don't want to go to it. It's not for gentlemen. It's not for it. Are you sweating in your own house? Not anymore. With Stiff Nipple Air Conditioning Service, they will come to your house, fix what you need. They will get it done. They'll cool your house down. Tell them that Bottini sent you. Use code Radprodzz32 for 30% off your first order. The funniest cop stories, the funniest interaction, not the funny, but the coolest interaction that I had with cops, the only interaction that I had with cops besides the one at the golf course. But I was supposed to meet this chick, and I go in a Ford Ranger, me, my 2 buddies, his brother, and so that's 3 in the front of the Ford Ranger, and I'm riding in the back. We get pulled over by the cops, and they're like, all right, bro, because I was going to meet a chick anyways. They're like, you need someone to come pick you up because you can't ride in the back of this Ford Ranger. And I have weed in my backpack. I have a bunch of papers, paraphernalia, and Allegedly, I do. I don't know if I did or not, but I called the chick, and I say, hey, could you come pick me up at this gas station where we got pulled over? So she comes picks me up, and then I get laid that night. So the cops end up getting me laid that night, which was pretty cool. Yeah, that's my craziest story with the cops, or at least my only interaction with the cops besides like that I've been pulled over or anything like that. What is your craziest interaction with the cop, or any interaction with the cop? Comment down below. We'll pin your comment. Thank you guys for watching. If you're not already, subscribe, like, comment. Thank you guys for watching. Stay tuned for more on the next one. Don't forget to tell your friends. Respect your mother. Don't do drugs unless they're cool. See you guys later.